I sound so sexy.
Look at all my notes. I have a ton of notes.
I do too. What's up, everybody? It is E3 week, and this is our first breakout episode, our reactions to the Microsoft E3 press conference that happened yesterday, Sunday. What was the day? What's the date? The 11th.
Oh, it was yesterday. Okay.
Yeah, it was yesterday afternoon.
I've been flying, so I'm a little out of it right now.
Flying because he was high as a kite on PCP. Just kidding, that's not true.
No, I was at a wedding. On PCP.
On PCP. Oh, man. So we're just going to talk about our reactions to the press conference. First up,
there was
just
a
in general.
Yeah.
How did you feel about it?
So we briefly talked about it without going into detail on it. I think we both are kind of agreeance. It wasn't bad.
By that I mean we sent two text messages.
We sent two text messages back and forth to each other. It wasn't bad, but it also wasn't, as you said, it wasn't the grand slam that they needed.
Right. Yeah. I mean, as press conferences go, especially compared to like EA's press conference, which we'll get to in another episode right after this one. Mm-hmm. It was a pretty good press conference.
There were definitely games that I'm like, oh, that looks great. I'm excited. That surprised me. Even small ones. But there still wasn't anything that I'm like, this is going to sell the Xbox One X.
Right. And that's what they needed.
By the way, we also have an Xbox One X now.
Yes. So let's jump in. Right off the bat, they started with that resolution reel and the Scorpio, or now Xbox One X.
How do you feel about the name?
It doesn't really matter. I mean, it's going to be confusing when you walk into a GameStop and be like, can I get the Xbox One X? And they're like, oh, wait, did you say S or X? Or
exactly.
X?
Someone on Reddit was saying that, you tell mom you want the Xbox One X, you're getting an Xbox One S.
Yep.
Because she'll have no idea.
Yep. But it doesn't matter. I mean, we have... Yeah. There's an HTC phone called the HTC One S and the One X. There's a Tesla S and a Tesla X.
Whoa, copyright claims.
I know, right? So, I mean, it doesn't matter.
It looks really cool. I think the one thing I was kind of surprised by, I really expected it to come with an Elite controller.
I did too.
Considering this is going to be the gamer's game machine. This is going to be, for anyone who would have bought an Elite controller, this is the console for them. I kind of figured that's how it was going to be positioned. And they didn't do that. I was kind of surprised. But they also might have had to cut the cost down because there was a lot inside of this thing.
There was.
Liquid cooling, I was not anticipating.
That was vapor chamber. I wrote that down. What did they call it? It said liquid cooled vapor chamber. Exactly what we just said.
Yeah.
I think it's also amazing that this is the smallest Xbox ever.
Yeah.
The fact that they got it smaller than the One S.
I really wish they had shown pictures side by side, though, of the Xbox One S and the Xbox One X.
I watched a live stream on, I think it was IGN, where they did have them kind of side by side.
How big of a difference is it?
It is technically smaller.
But it's very much the same size?
It is very, very much the same size.
Well, though, that's still impressive.
That is incredibly impressive.
I think it means it's still around the same size as a PS4 Pro, if not a little bit smaller.
Definitely. I think it's definitely smaller.
You think it's definitely smaller?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's coming out.
Because they did not say the smallest console. Otherwise, they would have made that claim.
It is the smallest Xbox.
Yeah. I guess they can't say that it's smaller than the Switch.
Because Switch is a baby, so.
It's smaller than the Switch. What the hell?
Yeah. So that's pretty impressive. $499. I think that's the right price point for the technology that's in it, not for the experience it gives us.
I think the people who really want it are going to buy it anyway.
Yep.
But it's not going to attract like a mass market adoption of a 4K gaming console. I think if someone going, I want a 4K gaming console, and they're kind of platform agnostic, they don't care what platform to go for, I think they're still going to go for the PS4 Pro.
Yeah. In general, I feel like this conference was, it wasn't really a conference for converting people to Xbox.
But that's what it needed to be.
That's what it needed to be. It was a conference for saying, hey, you're an Xbox gamer, here's a better way to play your games if you're looking at upgrading. And when it comes to the benefits of the Scorpio over the One S, every single game that they showed off, the only kind of benefits that they showed were 4K, HDR.
Which is what they said was going to happen.
I mean, yeah, but from a console that powerful, I would expect it. This is the PS4 Pro of the Xbox line now. That's because PS4 Pro, you get, some games have native 4K, some games have this checkerboarded, fancy kind of up resolution. Some of them have higher frame rates. This is just kind of that version for Xbox.
I'm super curious what's going to happen when you have the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X actually on the market against each other. You can kind of see what the graphics look like in comparison to one another.
Right.
Like how big of a difference is this going to be? They're both claiming 4K, but there's definitely a difference. I do believe the Xbox One X is significantly more powerful.
Oh, it absolutely is.
So I think that like a lot of the issues that he had with the PS4 Pro not being able to hold the frame rate at 4K resolutions as well, you won't see that on the Xbox One X.
Right.
So I just hope they can position that. Because I think if they can position that well enough, they could take away from PS4 Pro. But it's just the price point, I think, is going to be the hurdle for them.
Yeah, and PS4 Pro, right now they say, hey, you can choose, on a lot of titles, you can choose between having a higher frame rate or better resolution and textures. And obviously, standard on Xbox One X, you're going to have both for first-party titles, at least going forward, and a few going backwards.
Yeah.
They get patched, and then third-party titles kind of as they build that in.
So let's jump into games.
Yeah, 42 games shown off, 22 quote-unquote exclusives.
Some of those are timed exclusives.
Yeah,
like
or what they call Xbox
console
console launch exclusive.
Yeah, what does that even mean?
That's
just
the
means
new
timed.
fancy. It's a timed exclusive.
It's all okay.
It just means, hey, it's exclusive on Xbox, whether it's a week of exclusivity or a year. But yeah, that's exactly what that means. And technically that counts towards their exclusive. So that 22 number is not as impressive as it might seem up front.
Yeah. So I don't know if we want to go through all the games because there's a lot that I don't think is necessary to talk about.
No, we don't need to go through all of them.
But I guess they did. I just want to say this off the bat. They did Forza 7. I don't do racing games. The game looks insanely gorgeous. Why did they show a real car?
I know, right?
That was such a waste of time.
That's one thing that I think press conferences are still like they used to. That used to be all press conferences are stupid, like interviews with Pele or let me show you this car. And there are cars at so many Xbox conferences. Like I think last year there was a Mustang or something like that.
That should have. It's not that shouldn't have been at E3. It just shouldn't have been. It kind of shouldn't have been an E3 to begin with, but it shouldn't have been at the main like event.
Yeah.
It should have been like a side thing, like Forza 7 also got to show off like the new Porsche, not on stage. It just shouldn't have been there. The only reason I think it was there is the Xbox One X was going to cost like $699, and then Porsche subsidized by allowing them to show off. That's the reason why.
So Forza Motorsport 7 actually looks fucking gorgeous.
It looks so good.
It like
despite
those
me never
cars
wanting
look
to
like
race
real
in
life.
that game.
Oh yeah, I'm never gonna play this game, and it's one of those sim games, so it's not like arcadey and it's not fun to me. But it looks gorgeous. They had those puddles, the dynamic puddles that grow throughout the race.
Yep.
What I was impressed with was a lot of release dates for things that we saw, and that one's coming October 3rd.
Yeah. A lot of release dates. I guess.
But again, that stupid Porsche. Why the fuck did they show up that stupid Porsche on stage? Porsche.
After they did Forza 7, this was my one where I'm like, didn't expect this game to be there. Super pumped.
Yeah.
Metroid Exodus.
That game.
So I played the first one this year for the first time.
I know.
And it blew me away. And that trailer blew me the fuck away.
That
was
trailer
one of the best
is
demos I've
the
seen.
best. I think it might be the best video game gameplay trailer that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
To a point where I'm kind of skeptical.
Really?
I'm like, there's no way. That's very much a vertical slice. There's no way the end result, if it looks that good and plays that well.
I will say, from a visual standpoint, it's not unheard of that E3 games look way better than when they release.
Right.
But that said, I've played the first game, I've played the second one, but I'm sure the gameplay is going to be that good because the gameplay was that good looking. Not graphically, but just like the intensity of the moments and all that kind of stuff was in the first one. So seeing this, I didn't get the feeling that they were a lot of smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
From at least a gameplay and what you're going to be doing standpoint. It looked awesome just to play. When the monsters coming out of the shadows and stuff, like, holy shit, that was incredible. Incredible.
I always kind of viewed Metro as kind of a AA game, kind of that mid-tier that is not quite good enough for me to sink my time into, but this is something that makes me now... I immediately thought to myself, cool, as soon as that's on sale in the store, I'm going to download it.
Hey, I've been saying that.
I know you have, but I just don't trust your opinion on anything in the world, so...
I like Nintendo too much to have a valid opinion on games.
I fucking love that trailer, too, because... That's the song In a House in a Heartbeat from 28 Days Later. It's just like, it's the best song to do any kind of zombie or post-apocalyptic thing. It's just so fucking cool.
All right, so we're just going to skip ahead a little bit, but speaking of post-apocalyptic, State of Decay 2 starts showing up, and in my head I start going, oh no, I thought they weren't going to show Days Gone. Or I thought they were going to show Days Gone. And I'm like, oh, this is a completely different game.
Oh, it looks, State of Decay 2.
Isn't Greg Miller a huge fan?
He loves State of Decay 1, yeah.
Okay.
But State of Decay 2, it doesn't look great.
No.
This is also, it is a AA game.
Yeah,
this is a smaller studio. Yeah. But it doesn't look great. And a lot of the animations looked really, like everyone walked around like they were having like stuff shoved up their butt or they just peed their pants.
I think, was it No, I think this is another demo. Maybe it was this demo, but like someone was talking to the main character and their lips weren't moving.
Yeah.
At all. I think there's another game. No, it won't. It definitely is another game. We'll get to that one though, at the end. But things were kind of wonky and weird. Didn't play out very well.
Yeah, and there were also frame rate issues in the trailer that they showed.
Was that just the stuttering
you could see, occasionally a stutter of a car as it drives and things like that. It's just like,
yeah, and that's supposed to be one of their big games,
right? That's all they got left.
Yeah,
and we'll kind of touch on that throughout, but they don't really have anything big exclusive to Xbox.
No, I mean, let's talk about what their besides Crackdown. We'll get to Crackdown in a second, but like what their big exclusive was Sea of Thieves, and I still don't.
That game looks boring as fuck to me.
It really does. It really does.
So boring.
It's a really cool idea. It's a really cool concept. I'm sure it'll be kind of cool to be like, oh, I just found this pirate ship. I'm sure it'll be fun for like 5 minutes. Then you realize all I'm doing in this game, it just seems so tedious, is going to an island, finding treasure, then going back to another island, cashing in the treasure, and then going to another island and finding treasure. Oh no, there were some pirate skeletons there. Let me shoot my musket one shot at a time very slowly.
Yep.
Like, it just doesn't seem that fun.
I think the biggest problem I have with it is there are so many different types of gameplay. There's swimming, it looks like ship combat maybe, there's obviously shooting
these
skeletons.
Terrifying sharks that were never really a threat the entire time.
But it is all a very shallow, shitty version of all of these things.
Yeah, exactly.
And it looks like trash.
And I like No Man's Sky, but it has a very No Man's Sky feel.
There is a game in here that I wrote, this is a shitty No Man's Sky with spiders. I don't remember what it was, but...
Oh, no, I know what it was. It was, where was it? I wrote it down.
Oh, man. We'll get to it in a minute eventually.
Deep Rock Galactic.
That was probably it.
Yes. Exclusive, by the way.
Yes, launch exclusive.
Launch exclusive.
I made sure to write that down by every single game.
I wrote down exclusive next to them and launch exclusive.
Because they had Xbox One console launch exclusive. They had Xbox One console exclusive, Xbox One exclusive and Windows 10.
Yeah.
Xbox One exclusive and world premieres.
Yeah.
And sometimes a combination of all of those.
As amazing as Metro looked, that was just a world premiere trailer.
Yeah.
Not exclusive.
Not exclusive in any way to Xbox, which I think was... They didn't show off any exclusive games. They also didn't show off any partnerships with like Sony has Destiny have a year of exclusivity with this weapon or this strike, or with Call of Duty first DLC, but none of that was at Microsoft.
Maybe they're working on that with Metro, but Metro's not the kind of game it's like, oh man, Metro has extra, DLC coming to Xbox One, I'm getting it. No, it's not going to have that kind of impact. As much as I love that game, it's not going to have that kind of impact. Do you know what game I thought looked really, really cool?
What?
Was The Last Night.
Yes! The Last Night.
I literally wrote on here, super cool Blade Runner aesthetic, bit characters.
I wrote, freaking cool ass mix of 3D world and weird 16-bit style graphics.
Yeah.
I don't know what the gameplay of this game is. Is it like a side-scrolling 2D?
I was a little confused by that. Sometimes it was 3D, sometimes it was side-scrolling. Yeah. But either way, it looked so interesting visually.
Yeah, this gorgeous 3D world, but you're playing with like characters that look like flat 2D.
Yeah. And actually, what they look like? They look like the Sword and Sorcery Super Brothers. It looked kind of like those characters and how they move around.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite like little indie things that they showed off for sure.
I'm very excited about that. And then right afterwards, they showed off The Artful Escape, which is... It looked like a music platformer, but it had a similar, like, you're a 2D character in this gorgeous 3D world.
My note is literally, guitar-playing platformer, ... question mark?
Yeah, it looks like you played certain things to, like, make platforms appear, and both of those are launch exclusives, still coming to other platforms.
So, here's an exclusive that I thought was totally surprised me. Not in, like, I'm definitely buying this, but it's an interesting thing to see Microsoft test out, and that was, what was it? Super Lucky's Tale.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, it basically seems like they're trying to have some sort of, like, 3D Mario game.
It looks charming.
It looks very charming.
It's a character platformer, kind of along the veins of Banjo-Kazooie and Ratchet and Clank, things like that. But it looks like... apparently, this is a game that was already out on Oculus Rift. It was a VR game.
Oh, really?
And they are now just making it a regular, not VR game for Xbox One that's exclusive.
Interesting.
That's why it's called Xbox One console exclusive, because it already exists for Oculus. Not console launch exclusive.
Those technicalities, man.
Yeah. Coming day and date with...
November 7th.
Not Scorpio. Xbox One X.
Yeah.
Finally got a date for Cuphead. Still looks rad as shit. September 29th.
Thank God that's a timed exclusive. I don't have to buy an Xbox just to play that.
That one is not a timed exclusive.
Oh,
that
it's
one's
not.
a console exclusive. So you can
so
still play it on
PC?
You can still play it console exclusive. It didn't have the Windows 10, which means I guess you can get it from Steam.
Okay.
Yeah, stupid.
I thought that was a timed
naming.
exclusive as well. Like,
No.
it's coming to PS4 eventually. It'll come to PS4 eventually.
I'm sure it will.
Yeah. That's not the kind of game that Microsoft's going to, like, fight to hold on to.
Right.
All right.
Then Crackdown 3. That was next.
Yeah, Crackdown 3 was next.
Clarification. Terry Crews is not actually in this game.
Yeah. I was really confused for a second.
I was so excited. I was like, God, Terry Crews is freaking great. He was an Old Spice man. He's in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He's hilarious. Jacked as shit, but not actually in the game. He was just there to introduce it.
Mm-hmm. They didn't really show... I'm kind of worried about that. I have the feeling that game's not going to live up to the hype.
No, yeah, see...
They would have shown off a lot more of it if it were going to be something different, but I really feel like it's literally just bigger Crackdown 2, very much delayed.
The last time we saw this was 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the Gamescom where they showed off the power of the cloud. It looks a little different. I don't remember it having cell-shaded graphics like it did in this trailer. It did?
Yeah.
Okay.
All of the Crackdown games have had cell-shaded graphics.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it was just like so much just explosion, and for a game that's coming on November 7th, I want to see kind of what more is new about this other than everything can explode.
Yeah. And I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of this before it comes out. I really think we have a release date. This is what we know about the game. Let's see what happens when it comes out. I don't think we're going to see much of that game until then.
That is their kind of big exclusive game, though.
To me, their next game
Microsoft
is like
Studios.
their big one for me. And
What's that one?
Ashen.
Ashen. Oh, yes. That was
It's like...
As a launch exclusive.
Oh, so that is going to come to PS4?
Yes. That's Annapurna Games. So that's the What Remains of Edith Finch people.
That looks incredible.
Yeah. It's a dungeon, kind of exploring dungeons. They had these cool little shadow people that kind of...
The way you
fucking
play
attack
it
and
seems
creepy the
very
shit out.
Dark Souls-like to me. It seems you're kind of just spending time dodging your enemies, finding your openings, and attacking them as well, and it kind of just exploring this mysterious environment. Mm-hmm. That looks incredible.
Yeah.
I was seriously going to consider buying an Xbox One X because I really want to play that game.
Can I tell you, though, kind of like taking a break, the Xbox One X
Yeah.
is for, like, it's a de facto PS4 Pro clone.
Yep.
Yes, it's more powerful, but we're not really going to see those benefits in a real meaningful way.
For a few years.
Even I don't think even a few years from now, since everything still has to run on One S and Xbox One as well.
Well, they'll discontinue the One S eventually and say, like, now the One S is done, Xbox One X is our lowest console, and the Xbox XX is our new console.
Yeah. But what that did cement for me, that's a $500 box. Now that I know, cool, there's not really any meaningful bonus to getting that, a $199 Xbox One S does sound super enticing. For not only the exclusives that we have on Xbox One right now, but also for all the 360 backwards compatibility, and now Xbox backwards compatibility.
I agree with you, but I think I'm in a slightly different situation where you're buying a PS4 Pro because you want the PSVR to be better.
Right.
I don't have VR right now, and I want a 4K console because I have a 4K TV that I can't play 4K games on.
Right.
I might as well get an Xbox because I don't have an Xbox. I don't have access to those games. I already have a PS4. So, like, for me, like, I think
so
getting Xbox
so
One
you're
X...
leaning more towards...
I'm leaning more towards Xbox One X, yeah. But I'm not in a huge rush because there's nothing immediately coming in that launch window that I want.
So you're thinking, I need a 4K game console, might as well get one that I don't have yet?
Yeah.
Is it enticing enough for you to say, all right, this is the if I'm going to be playing all my games, I'd rather play them in 4K. Is there enough to play on the Xbox One? Is that now where you'll get your third-party games and things like that?
That's what I'm still kind of playing that out in my head a little bit.
Yeah.
Just thinking like, oh, cool. And then let's say that like Bloodborne 2 comes out or something like that, and it has these great 4K graphics, and I have an Xbox One X, and it's like, shit.
Like, damn it,
I would rather have played that on a PS4 Pro. But I think that I would just kind of suck it up, honestly.
Sure.
Yeah. Also, did you notice this? Just to go back to our Xbox One X for a second, they were showing like resolution, like over history,
yes,
and how it changes, and they for Xbox One showed 1080p, and I'm like, no, you don't get to make that
you
claim.
Get 900p.
Yeah, that was the whole scandal, dude. You can't say that. Not even it wasn't a big deal, the scandal, really, but like I don't know. I thought that was kind of funny. Anyway,
yes, Ashen looks cool as shit. Annapurna Games. It's one of their 4.
Shadow of War demo was There was Life is Strange 2, but
yeah, Life is Strange is the prequel. This is not Life is Strange 2.
Oh, the prequel. Sorry.
Because they said Life is Strange 2 is not going to be at E3, and they technically held their promise.
But Shadow of War after that?
Yeah, so they showed off kind of the recruiting and storming fortresses, and like you have your army behind you. So that looked pretty cool. It's a welcome addition to Shadow of Mordor.
Yeah,
it's kind of established gameplay, but
that one orc that was talking, the facial animations of that orc were spectacular.
Yeah,
they were really good. And not as good as another game we're going to talk about in a little bit, but that really took me off guard. That was really surprising.
Yeah.
It was very believable. Like, the next-gen graphics are kind of there now for it.
And that's one of those games that I think will kind of shine on, not Scorpio. I'm gonna be calling it Scorpio forever, but Xbox One X. Mm-hmm. You can kind of tell because Shadow of Mordor was the first thing to get a patch for PS4 Pro.
Yeah.
And apparently that looks gorgeous as hell. I haven't actually seen it in person, but if you have a 4K HDR TV, that game looks fucking phenomenal, even for like a 3-year-old game.
But like, let's get into what makes Shadow of War so cool, though, is that the change of the Nemesis system, where you can, rather than killing these captains, you can recruit them instead and build an army, and then use an army to attack a fort. I was really disappointed they didn't show footage of them attacking
the actual storming
of the fortress. Yeah, maybe they'll show that off like later on in D3 this week, but I feel like they have to show that because I don't know. I got this impression like if they're not showing it, it's got to be like kind of lame. Like you're just doing your own thing and you never see the battle.
Yeah, and
I want to be like running through
hitting
the battle.
Somebody off in the distance.
Exactly. Yeah. So we'll see what that's going to look like, but the concept is so cool. I'm so on board with that. That sounds awesome.
Yep. I have a feeling I'll pick that one up and play it for a little while.
Yeah.
I played the first one for a couple hours and I was like, yeah, this is fun, but I got what I needed from it.
By the time I had started playing that game, Shadow of War had kind of already been talked about.
Yeah.
Or at least like heavily rumored to the point where I was like, I'll just wait for that one.
Sure.
So I'll give this one a shot.
I think the only kind of genuine surprise, this one also lacks surprises, but I think the only genuine surprise for me was Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Xbox One exclusive, obviously from Microsoft Studios.
But I was totally indifferent to that. Why?
Really?
Yeah. Did you play the first one?
No, but that's one of the very few games that I'm so jealous of Xbox owners that they get to play that. It's this gorgeous looking platformer. Apparently has a great story to it as well, but I really, really want to play that, and this is the sequel to it.
Well, good for you, Chad.
Yeah.
Good for you, Chad. We actually skipped over. We skipped over Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed.
It looks like Assassin's Creed.
It looks like Assassin's Creed. There are a couple of minor changes, like you now have this bird that can fly up and you can have it kind of track things and you can mark
giant
enemies.
Snakes you're gonna fight.
That looks interesting.
Yeah.
It's never really had boss battles in Assassin's Creed, but there was a giant cobra that you're fighting.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's gonna be like a dream sequence and it's maybe not real, but that has that combat in it, which would be cool. But it looks like Assassin's Creed. It still has all the same animations. They showed a close up of someone talking and their eyes were still dead or darting around, looked dumb. But yeah, I was kind of disappointed that they took a year off and it didn't come out with something stellar and mind blowing for that franchise.
I just don't know if the setting of Egypt is gonna lend itself too well to how people play Assassin's Creed. Like scaling these tall buildings, is scaling a pyramid gonna be as fun as scaling a giant cathedral?
No, I don't know.
And sliding down the pyramid, I don't know. I just don't. Nothing about it seemed radically different from Assassin's Creed.
Right.
That I'm like, oh, this is why we waited an extra year.
It is the Black Flag team, too, that's doing it. So that gives me a little bit of promise because everyone loved Black Flag.
Yeah.
I had already been burned out on Assassin's Creed by the time that came out. But
yeah. One thing notable, I think, is that, and I was confused about this in the trailer, but I was watching some coverage afterwards. No more Animus, no more...
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah,
that was always the worst part of the games.
They said they wanted to focus on the historical aspects. Good. Yeah, so I don't think we're going to be spending any time in the future with Desmond.
Thank God.
Yeah, that's a good decision, I think. What else did they talk about?
Tacoma, the guys who brought you Gone Home.
That's got to be... They said exclusive, but maybe I'm just confused.
It's launch exclusive.
It said launch exclusive. I was about to say, I would be shocked if that was exclusive to them.
That's coming August 8th.
Yeah. And I'm trying to think, there's something else I wanted to...
See, some of what I was so disappointed with is that they showed some of these garbage games like Code Vein, and that looked real dumb.
That looked like the best game of the E3, okay?
Dragon Ball Fighter Z, it just looks like another Dragon Ball Z. The Darwin Project looks like a fucking ripoff of Overwatch.
My only note for that game is this guy is shouting too much. He sounds mad.
Oh, yeah.
Is he trying to sound like an
shoutcaster.
announcer? Yeah. That was so confusing.
They had so many. They had this just sizzle reel of ID at Xbox games halfway through, where they showed like 4 seconds of gameplay from all these games, and there were so many of those that looked so freaking rad that I would love to have seen instead. I don't remember any of the names of the ones that looked good because I was so busy like frantically writing them down as they showed on the screen.
They had to leave room for Sea of Thieves.
You're fucking right. That game just looks so boring.
There's a 40-minute gameplay, I think on like IGN. I'm just going to watch it just because I'm like, maybe there's just something I'm missing about this game. It's rare. Like, this is a pretty big developer.
Oh, one big thing that did come out of it. I mean, I'm not a Minecraft person. I don't think you play Minecraft at all, but
no, I appreciate it. It's a very cool game.
Yeah. As owners of Minecraft now, Microsoft did announce that they are uniting all platforms of Minecraft, which is awesome. So if you're playing on iOS or Switch,
the Switch was pretty heavily featured. That. They had a huge Switch show up built out of little Minecraft blocks.
Yeah, and now everyone's playing in the same universe. That's really awesome. That's coming in the fall.
I will say this, though. That super duper graphics pack does look really good.
Well, I mean, the
lighting,
game
it's just lighting.
It's basically lighting, and a couple of like plants now have a little bit more texture to them. But
it does look really good.
It does look good for Minecraft.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously. Yeah. It's not going to be like all of a sudden it's photorealistic blocks and stuff.
I mean, it still looks exactly like Minecraft.
But it has a really good aesthetic to it. I was kind of wondering how they'd handle that, and it looks really good. I was surprised by that.
They did say through the power of Xbox Live, they're uniting everything. So I wonder if you have to like make a Microsoft account in order to do all that, and then link your game or something like that.
They did say they have like these giant community servers now that they're using. So interesting. I don't know how Nintendo would feel about you making a Microsoft account on your Nintendo Switch.
Yeah,
that seems. I don't know. We'll have to see how that's going to play out. So I guess there's two more things to talk about, I think, and that's Anthem and OG Xbox.
Yeah.
So let's do OG Xbox. That's pretty quick.
So backwards compatibility. I wrote down, they said 2 years ago we announced backwards compatibility, and I was like, really? Was it really 2 years ago? I thought it was last year. But I guess it has been around for a while.
It was 2 years ago, yeah.
They have 385 titles, 360 titles right now that are part of it, which is awesome. This one I found a little bit, over half of Xbox One players have played a backwards compatible game. And at first I was like, dang, that's not a whole lot. Like, for all these backwards compatible games, you get free ones as part of Xbox Live Gold.
No, but like, that's like saying, well, geez, like, only 20% of PS4 owners bought Uncharted 4. Man, that's disappointing.
Well, when you get these games for free, well, I guess, there are so many PlayStation Plus games that I never touch. So, oh well.
I think 50% is actually pretty good. I can't think of, like, any game that has like a 50 or like any like feature that's used by like half of an audience. It's always like, here's a bunch of features, people pick what they want to use.
Yeah.
My roommate used it all the time. He's always playing like Grand Theft Auto 4 or something like that on it.
Yeah. There are so many PlayStation 3 games I'd love to play on PS4. And that's kind of, if I get a 1S, I feel like I'd be using backwards compatibility more than I would.
That's another reason to get an Xbox, honestly. There's some good like 360 games to kind of go back and play.
Especially with that Xbox Game Pass.
Although they like, here's the game they announced, like and everyone's been really wanting this one Xbox game, and I'm like, Halo. And then it goes, Crimson Skies. And I'm like, I've never heard of that before.
Yeah.
I also didn't have an Xbox. That's probably why. Do you remember that game?
I never played Crimson Skies on my OG Xbox.
It got a reaction.
But
like, people were wooing in the audience.
I guess it was a good one. One interesting thing is that they did say with original Xbox coming, that's the only game they confirmed was Crimson Skies, but that it will work with discs as well as they'll make them available digitally, because nobody has those discs around anymore, except for me. I actually have like 50 OG Xbox in my room in my parents' house. I brought them all in a giant shopping bag to GameStop one day and was like, I'm here to trade in all these games and this Xbox. And they're like, dude, we stopped accepting that like 2 weeks ago. And I was like, damn it. But that was 10 years ago, and now they do accept them. But I guess maybe I'll hold on to them. They said they will look better and play better on Xbox One. Mm-hmm. Launches later this year. And kind of along that line, it's not backwards compatibility, but one thing I did want to mention is that when One X comes out in November, there will be a few games that they will have gone back and patched with 4K textures.
Oh, very cool.
So the first party ones are like Gears 4, Forza Horizon 2, Halo Wars 2, Minecraft. And then 30 other titles will go back and get those 4K texture updates as well. Yeah. So they look great from day one. Mm-hmm. Suspiciously missing from that, though, was Halo 5. Halo 5 is not getting that 4K
They'll make a big deal out of that when Halo 6 is coming out. They'll have, like, you can replay Halo 5 within 4K, and they'll kind of build the hype that way. I'm not surprised by that.
And then the last one was Anthem.
I really thought that was awesome looking.
Yeah, it looks incredible.
My note here is, whoa, whoa, whoa.
It looks like Destiny.
Yes,
it looks like it plays a lot like Destiny.
I said, seems like they're going for more Destiny than Mass Effect is my note on
Yes.
here.
Yeah, so it's from BioWare. So obviously the Mass Effect team. This is right after Mass Effect 3, this is the team now that's working on Anthem. Basically, you're in an exosuit, so instead of having armor and things like that you upgrade, you have an exosuit that you upgrade.
The first game you were ever in an exosuit for.
They call them Javelins, but the exosuits have different classes, similar to Destiny. Ranger, Colossus.
You also really haven't had like an open
but
world game with like different kind of exosuits like that. Like maybe different exosuits will help you get to certain areas or something like that. Yeah.
It seemed very big around kind of team play. It's open world. They showed off They showed off like flying with these cool ass jetpacks.
That was insane.
Yeah,
it was insane. It was
the underwater,
amazing.
Like they just dove underwater and then came up and attacked these people from below.
I was getting really worried about this game because I'm like, man, Mass Effect Andromeda was like just not at the standard that it should have been, and this just completely blew the doors off of anything it worked at in terms of like polish and just it was gorgeous. It was so gorgeous.
Yep. And I'm excited because I think it's gonna look and play a lot like Destiny, but be really badass. But also will have the story.
Yeah,
that
because that's what BioWare
for.
is always good at stories, and which I think that they made a point of having that one clip of the guy talking to the camera.
Yes,
because the facial animations were some of the best I've ever seen. They were really, really good for that style of game.
Yep,
I was very, very impressed by that. But they definitely made a point of showing that off to show that, hey, this is not Mass Effect Andromeda. We're not going to have those problems in this game.
Right.
I bet you any money that's why that was in there.
Yep. Again, zero exclusivity to Xbox.
Yeah.
No timed exclusive, no exclusive DLC.
But did you notice what Phil Spencer was saying beforehand, though? He's saying, like, in games that were designed with the Xbox One X in mind, he's trying to, like, almost, like, fool you into thinking it was going to be
He's trying
exclusive.
to say exactly what he can to make you think it is without technically lying.
Yeah. So that was a little disingenuous.
Yeah.
And they made it as their closer as well, even though it had already been shown off at
Well, they showed that one weird trailer at EA's event, and I was like, what is that game? It sounded like a mech suit. But, yeah, I'm very excited for that. No release date on that one?
Coming 2018.
2018.
2018, yeah.
So that's kind of the whole conference in a nutshell.
Yeah, there was great stuff. I think the biggest surprises for me were Metro Exodus.
Yeah.
That was the biggest one for me.
Metro Exodus and Anthem are kind of my two game of their show.
Which one?
Of the conference for them.
Metro Exodus and what?
And Anthem.
And Anthem, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, too, I want to know more about Ashen and then Last Night. I think those are like the 4 games for me.
Yeah.
That were really appealing. But yeah, it wasn't a bad event. There wasn't anything.
Yeah.
Like, of those, like, let's look at this, though. Of the 4 games, you're like, oh, those are all really good. None of those are exclusive, I don't think.
Right. Maybe a launch exclusive.
Yeah, Last Night is a launch exclusive.
So ones that are exclusive to Xbox One is
Minecraft.
Ori and the Will of the Wisp. Forza.
PlayerUnknown
Crackdown
Battlegrounds
3
is a console exclusive.
Yep. Super Lucky's Tale console exclusive.
State of Decay 2.
I think that might be it.
MMORPG Black Desert.
Say that.
The name of that game is literally the MMORPG Black Desert.
Yeah, that looked kind of fun. Fantasy magic.
It did until they started showing the combat and how the combat worked, and it looked a little wonky. Oh, that was one thing about Assassin's Creed. The combat looked really off in that game.
Yeah,
it looked really off.
It looked like Assassin's Creed combat, which has never been great. But they did say it has more RPG elements. You can like upgrade weapons and shit like that. But
I don't care. It was kind of cool that you can like take weapons from your enemies. When you kill your enemies, you can take their weapons.
You've been able to do that in a few Assassin's Creed.
Oh, have you? Okay.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I played Assassin's Creed. I think 2 was the last one I played.
I did all of that 2 saga. So 2 Brotherhood.
3. I played 3 as well.
And Revelations.
I never beat it.
I think there are a couple of weird misses. One, so what we needed from this in order to make it a stellar conference and exactly what Microsoft wanted is they needed to explain to us why One X is better. and right now I don't feel like we know that.
Yeah.
I saw a headline from somewhere, maybe it was The Verge or something like that, said Xbox can't tell you why you should pay $100 more over the PS4 Pro, comma, PlayStation can't tell you why 4K is important in the first place. So they both are having like messaging issues, like why are these consoles important?
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't knock it out of the park with that. The
Also,
price is too high for it.
What's the storage? They didn't talk about storage. Is it a terabyte?
1 terabyte.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw an interview afterwards, and I saw an interview afterwards.
It had to have been 1
to
terabyte.
mention a
It could
couple
not have been
things.
less than that.
Yeah, it's 1 terabyte. It does have external storage options, of course, as well, so you can plug in a hard drive. And they did say that it would be faster if you did do that as well for some reason. But another weird thing, and there was a Phil Spencer quote that came out today with it. There was no mention of VR or HoloLens for a console that they kept saying support for modern day VR, blah 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 blah, and then they didn't mention it at all. And then Phil Spencer had a quote today that says, "The living room is not the right place for VR right now. We're focusing on Windows 10."
Okay, is outside the best place for VR?
No, he says VR right now is best at the desk. Like literally, he says at your desk rather than the living room.
I don't agree with that.
No.
Because when you put the headset on, it kind of doesn't matter what room you're in because you're in a new room
That's
because
true,
it's
yep.
virtual reality.
Yeah, so I thought that was a
an
miss
odd-
there.
Yeah, that was an odd thing
And
to say.
a weird quote that there's like, yeah, we're not really
Well,
exploring that on Xbox right now.
I think it's because they didn't have it ready in time. Probably.
Great.
Cool.
So we're going to wrap that up. We'll come to you here in a little bit with our third-party conference reactions. We have Sony coming up tonight, Nintendo tomorrow morning. It's going to be really titties. Stay tuned, guys.
Bye.